Hello folks, this is Sula once again. Welcome to another video for our Teamfight Tactics. This is a video that's taken from my last ranked placement match, and for whatever reason, even though I was at Gold 2 at the time that I was playing this game, it matched me up with people who are all in Platinum and one Diamond player, so I don't know about that. I guess the game was optimistic in how it thought I would do in these matches. But in this one, we're going to be looking at a Nidalee-based team composition. So this is going to be Warlords and Sharpshooters that we're going to be playing through, and specifically playing through the champion named Nidalee. Now, Nidalee's not new. She's been around for quite a while. She was in set 4 before set 4.5 came out. But she has kind of taken on a renewed emphasis here in set 4.5, and that's because one of the things that people have been figuring out is the game right now, it leans pretty heavily towards reroll compositions and towards playing one-cost units, trying to 3-star them, and then sticking with those units for the entirety of the game. I actually don't really like this very much. I hope that we'll see the game move away from this in upcoming patches, but that is kind of where we are right now. Basically the big problem is that there's not enough reward for going to level 9, and the 5-cost units, the legendary units, aren't really strong enough to induce people to want to push towards getting to level 9 and filling out a team comp with a whole bunch of 5-cost units. So until the game is changed in that way, you're going to see a lot of people re-rolling for 3-star champs, and you're going to see a lot of people just like sticking at level 7 or level 8 and then just trying to re-roll to fill out their comps there. Anyway, we'll get to that in a little bit. So I took a Nidalee off the initial carousel. I wasn't specifically trying to play Nidalee, but I ended up grabbing that tier, and I thought that that would work. Here, I was trying to decide, am I going to play a game that has like Nidalee in it, or am I going to play a game that is based on mages? I do get a chosen here. It's a Fiora chosen, and that's a pretty strong option to play through. Fiora is rather popular right now. She is one of those champions that people will try to 3-star. She was buffed pretty severely at the beginning of set 4.5, just by making it so that her riposte was a lot better, her ultimate. Like, she's a pretty strong frontline tank because you can set her up such that she's just parrying again and again and again and not taking damage while she's parrying. So here, though, I was, like I said, I couldn't quite decide if I wanted to go into mages or go into warlords, but then I 2-starred the Nidalee, and as soon as I 2-starred the Nidalee, I was like, you know what? Probably better off going to play into the sharpshooter route. So I decide don't think I'm going to go towards mages. I've got the 2-star Nidalee, so I'm going to go ahead and make Shojin on her. And I believe that I think I hold on to the TF for right now because I still have that option to go and, oh, never mind. I was like, I think I hold the TF here, but no, I actually ended up selling the TF. So at this point, I'm thinking I'm going to play into the Nidalee. And in part, that was because I had good items for Nidalee. I'm also looking here, is anyone playing Warlords? And I believe there's one other person who's playing Warlords. The person whose name is Ilya Chan is also playing Warlords. So that's a little bit unfortunate, but like I said, I do think I can go towards this. And although I'm not going to be able to kill this Yasuo, and by the way, this person already has 8 Yasuos at level on stage 2-1. I was like, what? They hit the Yasuo chosen and then also found another 2-star Yasuo and put another Yasuo on their bench. So they're going to hit 3-star Yasuo pretty early. Anyway, so here I had Brawlers initially, but then I get lucky enough to hit the 2-star Garen. So I'm going to grab the Teemo. We'll replace the Tristana with the Teemo because that's just a more useful champ. And then we're going to get Warlords into the comp by putting in Jarvan. Now, I'll also grab the Braum here because Braum will give me frontline. I can play Vanguard. But here, if the choice is between Vanguard and Warlord, Warlord is better because Nidalee is the unit I'm playing through. And I want to power up Nidalee. It's more important to power up Nidalee than it is to give extra armor to Garen. So that's why Jarvan goes in over the Braum right now. Now, if you look at Nidalee, I have gone ahead and made 2 items on her. I have made a Spear of Shojin, and I've also made a Needlessly Large Rod. And so this is part of the reason why I thought I would go into this Nidalee-based setup here, is because I had good items to play Nidalee. I also had good items to play a Mage comp with that was based on Aurelion Sol. I could have made Gunblade plus a tier, which would be good items for that. So one of those 2 setups seemed like it would work. The basis of running a team that plays through Nidalee is you try to make 2 key items. One of them is Spear of Shojin, and then the other one is Jeweled Gauntlet. And those are kind of the 2 items that are core to her build. So what exactly do these items do? Well, the Jeweled Gauntlet will cause her spears to crit, and that means that she can just put out enormous damage with the spears. Nidalee has really good burst damage. Her damage over time, like her overall DPS is not that tremendous, but her burst damage is really, really high if she can get a spear that goes a long distance, and then you have a Jeweled Gauntlet to get it to crit. So there's a whole bunch of champs that are designed to survive through sustain. Like they have lots of lifesteal, they live through lifestealing. But, you know, if you can get one of those Jeweled Gauntlet spears to go off, then it can just like burst right through them. And that's that. By the way, this round is unfortunate. I should have been scouting better. I should have had Nidalee on the right-hand side because this Zed comp was putting Zed on the left, and the Zed jumped right on top of the Nidalee. If I had had Nidalee on the left-hand side, I think that I win that fight, and then maybe I could have started a winning streak. Instead, I go loss, win, loss, so not so good. The other key item is seen as being Shojin, and that's because Spear of Shojin will generate additional mana for her. I believe that the Spear of Shojin does have an interaction with the Sharpshooter bounces. I'm not 100% sure on that, but I know that the Spear of Shojin is really good on Nidalee because it gives her much more mana, causes her to fill up that mana bar much more quickly, and therefore get off more spears. Now, on this particular carousel, I was hoping to get the Brawler's Glove because that would make Jeweled Gauntlet. In fact, it's on a 3-cost champion. It's also on a Kindred, but not a possibility. So instead, I'm going to go ahead and grab the Katarina. I was figuring, well, if I can't make a Jeweled Gauntlet on Nidalee, let's get some kind of tank item. I would love to play into Sunfire Cape, but if I had the option between taking a Chain Vest for Garen on a 1 gold champion and a belt on a 3 gold champion, I'm going to take the Katarina because she sells for 3 gold, and that actually does make a big difference this early in the game. So that's why I grabbed that particular item. It's going to help me economically. So I go ahead and put that Giant's Belt on Garen, and then I'm going to level, and now I can put in the Braum. So now we've got the Vanguard trade-in as well, and that's going to make our front line significantly tankier. And if I win this round, I can get up to 10 gold. Note that if I had taken a 1-cost champion off that carousel instead of a 3-cost champion, I would not be able to get up to 10 gold. So you got to keep that interest mechanic in mind while playing this game. It does make a big difference on the early carousels, whether you're taking a champion that only sells for 1 gold as opposed to 3 gold. All right, so here we have yet another Yasuo reroll comp, and this person also has 8 Yasuos, so it was like, what? A lot of Yasuos out of the pool right now. Unfortunately, both of these players are definitely going to hit the Yasuo 3-star sooner or later. So that's not great news, but I think Nidalee is actually reasonably strong here. If the Braum can hold up, and Teemo can get his poison, we actually have a chance to win this round. Come on, Teemo. Can you win this one for me? But I don't know if it's going to be enough, and no. Unfortunately, still come up short. So that's a little bit unfortunate. Not quite able to pull that off. And I'm stuck at 9 gold. But then here, aha! I get a Warlord, I get a Sharpshooter Nidalee. 2-star Nidalee. I was like, wait a minute. Well, this is perfect. If I want to go for a reroll Nidalee, I can just play through this unit. So I don't want to sell my current Nidalee to transfer the items over. That would take me back to just 3. I want to 3-star the Nidalee, so that means holding on to this one. And the good news is, since it's a sharpshooter Nidalee, I can just play both of them at once. I'll just play both of them, and I still have Sharpshooter in because I've got the Sharpshooter Chosen ability. So we'll just play both Nidalees, and then the goal is we're going to need to try to find 3 more Nidalees so that I can combine these 2 together into 1 3-star unit, and then fill out the rest of the comp from there. And then aside from there, I'm going to look to try and pick up more Warlord units, because if you're playing through Nidalee, you really want to get up to 6 Warlords. So we actually do win that round, and the Nidalees both do very high damage. I don't know which one did more. Not really any easy way to see that. But now that I'm not facing those Yasuo reroll comps, I'm feeling a little bit better here. And so that's what we need to do. We need to find 3 more Nidalees, and if I can find 3 more, then we'll be in great shape. Okay, so we've got a minion round here. Since we're going to be talking a lot about Nidalee, I will read her exact spell description here. And that will, I mean, I think people are relatively familiar with Nidalee as a champion, but it doesn't hurt to read that. So her ability costs 70 mana, and when the mana bar fills up, Nidalee throws her javelin at the farthest enemy, deals magic damage plus 20% more for each hex traveled. So that's really the key there, is it's the 20% more for each hex traveled. There's always a fair bit of RNG in this because, you know, enemy champs can move around and you don't entirely control where she throws it. But if you get that, you know, if it travels like 4 or 5 spaces, it'll do basically double damage. The base damage is 225 at 1 star, 350 at 2 star, 600 at 3 star. So it almost doubles when you get to 3 star. It's a big, big jump up in damage there. On this particular round, what did I get? I did get a fair amount of extra gold, which is nice, but otherwise the items I picked up weren't quite what I wanted. I got a BF sword here, and I decided I would make the gunblade. It's not kind of a core item on Nidalee, but it's still not bad. It means that she'll be able to heal off of those spears, and this can be a big deal. If she hits like a long distance spear, then she can sometimes heal right back up to full from it. So this will make her give her much more tankiness, more survivability, and the item components are really nice too. You've got the BF sword that, for more AD, and then you've got a needlessly large rod for more spell damage. So even though it's not an ideal item for Nidalee, it's not bad. And I'm still hoping that maybe I can make the Jeweled Gauntlet, but I didn't want to have items just sit there on my bench. So I had Garen pick up the Warmogs just to help frontline. Again, not an ideal item, but I think it's still pretty solid. I think Warmogs is also better in the early game than in the late game. Warmogs gives 1,000 extra health, and I always feel like that's better if you make it early in the game as opposed to making it at the end of the game where like the damage of all the champions is higher. So no Nidalees yet. I'm looking to try to get up to 50 gold and then re-roll a bit for Nidalee 3-star there. And here I was trying to decide, there is a Vi and a Cat there, and I feel like I have to pick them up, even though I hate how much gold it costs. Having the two of them sit on my bench, costing me money, is not ideal. But like I said, I want to get up to 6 Warlords as soon as possible, right after I find a 3-star Nidalee. So even though it costs me money, I'm going to go ahead and hold them here and look to go from there. Now, the one unit I should sell is Teemo. I don't really need Teemo, but if I win this round, I'll be fine, and I'll be at 30 gold, and I don't need to sell him. Now here, watch Nidalee's spear, and boom! Hits the Callista right in the back line. So that was a perfect spear, and with that, we're going to win this round easily because this comp has no damage aside from the Callista, so it's going to be pretty easy to win after that. Tahm Kench can tank forever, but if there's no damage, it's not going to matter. So, like, right there, we just win the fight straight off of that really nice spear. And with that, I'm in good shape overall. I mean, I haven't been able to go on like a long winning streak. I had a lot of lost then win, then lost then win, which was less than ideal. But the good news is I've been able to preserve my health. When I was losing rounds, they were all close losses, which is always good to see. And this comp really will take off if I can get up to the Nidalee 3-star, and then if I can get Warlord 6 in. Warlords will provide all the Warlord units with extra health and extra spell power, and if they win enough rounds, they'll get more health and more spell power. If they are in there for 5 winning rounds, they get even more. So I'm just continuing to look here. I shift Nidalee over to the right-hand side because I was like, that Zed is still out there. And this is positioning for the win. Zed is going to jump over here, but he is not on my itemized Nidalee, which is what I want. And in fact, Nidalee is going to target that Zed with a spear. And, well, we don't hit the Zed, but we managed to get the rest of the enemy assassin comp. And so, there we go. Spears for the win. And I sell Teemo so I can get up to 40 gold. But I don't think I win that round if the itemized Nidalee is still on the left. So this is why it's important to look at the other team comps. And, in an 8-player lobby, you can't position for everyone. But you can try to see where you're more likely to have luck as far as positioning your champs. All right, so it's time for another minion round here. Or not another minion round, another carousel. And since I'm top 2 in health, that means I'm going to have to just pick what's left over, basically. And we'll see what we get here. Note that one of the other players has not lost a round yet. Bill Jamie is one of the people playing Yasuo reroll comp, so that's going to be trouble. You're always hoping when you see this in the lobby that someone is going to end that long winning streak, because anyone who's won the first 8 matches of the game is going to be super duper rich, and that always is going to make it harder. So here, I don't have much to pick from. I'm forced to pick between an Aatrox and a Jax, and although the Aatrox does sell for more gold, I already have more Giant's Belts than I need, so I end up going for the Chain Vest instead, and we can just toss this on Garen. Not really what I wanted, but it was what was available, so we'll go with that. Good news here, we do manage to find a Nidalee, so now we're up to 7, just need to find 2 more. Or did I end up holding on to this? Maybe I ended up holding on to this. I think I was considering whether to make like a Guardian Angel for Nidalee, which would be another good item. So I guess I did end up holding on to this, at least for the time being, since we only have 2 rounds until the minions pop again. Other people are going to level 6. Ordinarily, I would go to level 6 here as well, except that, again, I want to stay at level 5 because I have better odds to find Nidalee as a 1-cost champion here at level 5. So we'll stay here for the moment. We are up against the person who's been win streaking. It's easy to see why they've been win streaking. They made a very early Yasuo 3-star. Yasuo does have somewhat odd itemization. The Infinity Edge is great. The Hand of Justice is perfectly fine, but the Sunfire Cape's a little bit weird. You wouldn't normally look to make a Sunfire Cape. This round's going to be really sad because the Jax and the Irelia are both on like 10 HP, and we weren't able to finish them off. So not able to beat that comp, not able to end the long win streak. I was thinking if I can find the Nidalee 3-star, I'll have good odds to maybe end the winning streak there. So I've actually managed to 2-star the Vi and the Jarvan, then I 2-star the Braum as well. I'm re-rolling here because I'm trying to pick up more Nidalees. Don't find any more there, which is a little unfortunate. And I'm going to have to roll down relatively soon because if you note on the passive experience gain, I'm actually getting pretty close to level 6. You always gain 2 XP every single round. So I've only got 3 more rounds before I hit level 6. So I'll have to roll down and just, again, cross my fingers and hope to hit the last 2 Nidalees. I don't really like reroll comps. I've said that many times before. I hate the way that they're very RNG dependent, but they're kind of what is strong right now. So you have to, you know, if you're going to play this game, it's a PvP game. So if you're going to want to compete with other players, you know, you got to adjust to what's strong at the moment. And that's what the reroll comps are. Had some beautiful spears coming in against this team comp. But even though Siobhan is healing like crazy off her Hand of Justice, which obviously rolled life on hit for that round, the Nidalees are still able to get it done. My pair of Nidalees there. All right, so here I'm going to look to roll again. And we hit the 3-star cat, and we hit 8 Nidalees. I was like, all right, come on, please give me this last Nidalee. Please don't make me roll a gazillion gold trying to find this last Nidalee. And there we go. So I was actually pretty fortunate. It didn't take that many rounds to get the Nidalee, and then I'm going to level and put in the rest of my Warlords. So I just need to find one more Warlord to get up to Warlord 6. That would be either Tryndamere or Azir. I have much better odds to find Tryndamere because he's a 4-cost as opposed to a 5-cost legendary on Azir. But hopefully I'll find one of them, and then I'll be able to play the 6 Warlords. And look what I've gotten here in terms of items. I get a really good item drop from the minion round. I get the components to make a Jeweled Gauntlet, which is, again, just a perfect item for Nidalee. Now her Javelins will be able to crit, and I get the items to make a Sunfire Cape, which I'm super happy with. So we'll just go ahead and do that. And I've got a Brawler's Glove for the remaining item component, and that could turn into a Quicksilver Sash for Katarina, which would be really nice as well. So I'm feeling really nice. I got those items were the reason why I got so many items is I've been getting gold early in the game. And if you get lots of gold early in the game, you'll get more items later. If you get lots of items earlier, you'll get more gold later. I was lucky that I got those in kind of the correct order. It's better to get gold early and items late than vice versa because getting more gold early gets you off to a good economic start. So here we're up against one of the 2 Yasuo reroll players, but look at that spear. It just instantly takes out all of Yasuo's health bar. Also, Katarina gets off a nice ult, and hey, we actually burst through the 3-star Fiora, and we burst our way through the 3-star Yasuo. So now that we've got the 3-star Nidalee, we're going to win that round. And Nidalee leads all damage with 8,000 something. So I was like, okay, that's pretty good. I'm going to look to push levels here. Just going to put my income towards leveling to 7, and then I'm going to try to roll a little bit at 7 to find Tryndamere. That's the goal. I need to find the Tryndamere because he will get me up to Warlord 6, which is a big jump in the benefit. Since I've got the little cheat sheet open on my other screen here, I'll just read the Warlord's benefit. Warlords gain bonus health and spell power, and each victorious combat increases the bonus by 10%, stacks up to 5 times. Warlord 3 is 250 health and 25 spell power. Warlord 6 is 500 health and 50 spell power. So it doubles the benefit from 250 health to 500 health and from 25 spell power to 50 spell power. So it's double the benefit to get up to Warlord 6, and that'll be pretty significant for Nidalee right here. So if she could just hit that spear, boom. Note that she gets the crit on the Shyvana, and then it rebounds and hits a secondary target. And she's just doing a ton of damage. Honestly, doing too much damage. A 1-cost unit shouldn't be this strong. A little bit too strong. So here I pick up the Pike. Now, why do I want Pike? Well, he'll put Assassin into the comp. That's going to be useful. And the other thing is the Pike's secondary traits are Cultist, which isn't going to matter for this game, but also Slayer. And Slayer is really useful because that will play into a potential Samira later on down the road. Samira is kind of the endgame unit that you're playing into with this team composition. You have the Warlord, so there's the potential to play through Katarina. But if you don't end up hitting Katarina items, there's also the potential to play through Samira in the late game. And that's going to be what I'm going towards in this game, in particular because I have a Sharpshooter chosen. That means that I can put in Samira and also put in a potential Sivir. And then that alone will be enough to get me to the 4 Sharpshooter benefit. Since I have a Sharpshooter chosen, I really want to get the Sharpshooter benefit and take advantage of that. Now look at this. We've got this Vigor who's just healing like crazy. But again, the spears just burst through the healing. That comp also was running a very tanky Nunu, but Nidalee hit the Nunu right away with a spear, and it just like one-shotted the entire health bar. So again, oh, and we finally see the long win streak of Bill Jamie come to an end. That was 12 rounds in a row won by Bill Jamie. So that player really should win the lobby, or at least like top 2 at a minimum. There's a Samira here on the carousel. I was like, oh, I really would like that Samira if it's available, but I really can't imagine it's still going to be there since I have last pick. Samira with a BF sword feels like it has pretty high priority for people on that carousel. So I just have to wait and see. And surprisingly, the Samira is still there, but then my hopes are dashed by Garsha 101. Curse you, Garsha 101. So I don't have a lot of choices here on what's left over. I end up taking the recurve bow. The logic that I was thinking there is none of these items are really good for Katarina, but a recurve bow would be excellent for if I can find a Samira, because that builds Last Whisper, and that's a very good item on Samira. All right, so here, as I said, I just hit level 7, so I'm going to look to roll a little bit here. Again, I'm trying to find Tryndamere, and I'm hoping that he'll pop up. Instead, I find more Pikes, and I find more Sivers, and the Sivers are good because remember, if I find Samira, I'm going to want to go up to 4 Sharpshooters. And I decided that I'll stop rolling there. I 2-starred the Pike. I found 2 of the Sivers. Now my plan is to stop here, hold over the 40 gold threshold, and then wait until after the minion round, then go to 8 after the minion round and roll more there, looking for Tryndamere or Azir. I could also find Azir, but I only have 1% odds to find him here at level 7 because he's a legendary unit. And hopefully I'll find one of those 2 at level 8. I should be able to. I'll have enough gold to roll for a bit there. And as I said at the beginning of this video, there's really no need to push immediately to get to a fast level 9 anymore. So there it looked like we were going to lose to the Yasuo, but then Nidalee just hits Yasuo with a Javelin. It crits, and there goes Yasuo's entire health bar. So that's that. And past me, highlighting the Tryndamere sitting there on that person's bench. So Bill Jamie won the first 12 combats in a row, but then loses 2 in a row after that. Now that's the way to play the game. You want to go on long win streaks and long loss streaks. I mean, you don't really want to go on long loss streaks, but you want to be in a position to be streaking one way or the other. So, well played from an economic perspective, sir. Well played. We are hitting the end of stage 4 here, and you're going to see people starting to get awful low. So that means people are going to have to go all in because their health is running out. Since I'm not going all in, at least not at the moment, that means that it's going to be tough to win some of these matchups against people who've rolled down to nothing. That's not the case in this particular player, Garsha here, but you're going to see that more and more. And so I'm going to have to hopefully keep winning while also not rolling that much money. We get another great round there, great spear there. Nidalee manages to toss a spear and just instantly one-shot the Kindred that person was playing through. And Kindred can be problematic for Nidalee because Kindred moves around so much, it can be difficult to tag Kindred with a spear. But, I mean, if Nidalee hits a spear and just instantly one-shots their carry at the start of the fight, then it's pretty much an instant win. I don't really lose if that happens. All right, well, the good news is I win streaked all through stage 4. Basically, the minute that I hit the Nidalee 3-star, I went on a big winning streak, and I went the entire stage without losing. So really, really good from an economic perspective. Obviously, I preserved health. I'm still at 82 health, which is a really good place to be at the end of stage 4. And I was also able to get a lot of money off that. I was able to sit at 50 gold or higher for most of the time. And, you know, now I'm feeling pretty good. So I am going to see what I get here. I'm going to look to roll and try to find the Tryndamere, and you know, that's the goal here. Bramble Vest, they've got 2 Chain Vests, which will be a Bramble Vest, which is not as great, but we can put it on a frontliner like Garen. And then, oh, I find the Samira. I was like, oh boy. Okay, well, Samira's going into the comp. There's no question about that. Absolutely need to play Samira. I'm going to make the Last Whisper on her, and I'm going to take the Pike out, and I'm going to put the Sivir in. So this does not give us 6 Warlords, but it does put 4 Sharpshooters in, and that's going to mean a lot of damage. So I'm going to try to put the Samira over by the Sivir, because that way when Sivir ults, she will provide the bonus AD and bonus attack speed to all of my champs. I should probably shift the Sivir to be in the middle of them. And I didn't have a chance to roll there, but I still want to find Tryndamere. I would take out the Braum to put in Tryndamere right now and get up to 6 Warlords. Now we're up in Aurelion Soul comp here, and we need to try to make sure that Aurelion Soul doesn't just instantly kill everyone. By the way, note that Nidalee is healing off her Gunblade, and it's really significant. I do just barely lose at the end there, but she got low and then tossed her spear, and then instantly healed back up to full, and then tossed another spear and went back up to full again. So that was close right there. We almost won that round, but the Gunblade was super duper helpful there, or else we would have been in, or else she would have just died. All right, now here again, I'm gonna roll for the Tryndamere. I do have the option to roll for like a Katarina 3-star. That is a possibility, but I decided not to do that just because I want to invest more money in trying to find this Tryndamere. And unfortunately, oh, I'm not having great luck. Where are you, Tryndamere? Where are you, Azir? I keep finding Olafs. I found like 4 Olafs here, but I can't find even one Tryndamere. I'm like, come on, where is this? And there we go. We finally get it. So I'll go ahead and take that out. And this does cost me the Vanguard, so it means Garen's going to be a little bit less tanky. He doesn't have that armor. But going up to 6 Warlords is a huge benefit because it powers up the Nidalee even further. And, of course, I am playing a lot of Warlord units, so that's really nice as well. So even though it's a little weird, I do think that this still makes my comp stronger overall. So again, watch Nidalee healing off those spears. She does not die because she has the Gunblade. So, like I said, even though it's a little bit of an odd item on her, I do feel like that it was still better overall. And now I know what I need to do. I need to get up to level 9. So now I'm going to stop rolling, go towards level 9, because I need to get another unit into this comp. I actually really need to hit level 9 so I can play the Pike. Pike is super important for my team comp because he makes Slayer, which is really good for the Samira, and he'll make Assassin, which will power up the Katarina a little bit more. So we're going to have another combat round here, and then we've got a carousel. So I'll take a minute to talk a bit more about Samira since I haven't featured her in one of the videos yet. I'm highlighting Slayer there. Slayer units getting bonus lifesteal. And what's the other thing that they get? They get lifesteal and... I'll highlight it here. Bonus damage. Higher lifesteal and bonus damage based off their target's minimum missing health. So basically they are good at executing low health targets. But basically it will make Samira significantly stronger if I can get the Slayer into play. And she actually gets off a really nice ult in the backlines there against this person, Boba-sama, one of the 2 people playing Yasuo Reroll in this game. So we win that round, and as it turns out, everybody's really low in this lobby except for me and Bill Jamie, the person who win streaked through the first 12 rounds of the match. Bill Jamie takes another loss there, but everybody else is low. On low health in this lobby, except for the 2 of us. We're sitting here at 70 health, and everyone else is at like 30 or below. Okay, so we've got another item carousel here. Now, there's one item that's really crying out to me here. That's the Guardian Angel. It's a super important item for Samira. Just due to the way that her ability works is she's constantly dashing into the middle of enemy teams, and a Guardian Angel is really, really good on her because it allows her to come back to life. And, oh, I almost get it, but... that player Fire Booms grabs it right before it can get to me. So since I can't get that, I'll go ahead and grab the Trap Claw, which is like a poor man's version of the Guardian Angel. It does have extra crit chance on it, and it does block 1 negative spell cast. So I'm going to put this on Samira. It's like a small way of providing some protection, but it's not as good as a Quicksilver Sash would be, and it's not as good as a Guardian Angel would be. Okay, so let's talk Samira here for a minute, since, as I mentioned, I haven't featured her in a video yet in set 4.5. Samira's traits are Sharpshooter and Slayer, and then she also has a unique trait called Daredevil that no one else has, but that's just unique to her. What Samira does is she does not have a mana bar. What happens is she dashes around hitting enemies. She will constantly attack different enemies, and she gets these little letters that fill up as she dashes around attacking different enemies. Like she starts at C, and then it goes to B, and then it goes to A. Well, that's all she gets in this round because she gets popped. But when it goes all the way up to S, she will then use her ult, which fires like a big AoE set of bullets that just hit everything in the nearby area. And right there, I thought we were going to win this fight, but then Veigar manages to get his own spell crit and pop the Nidalee, and he had his own gunblade, so he was healing back to full. But one good spear would have killed him, so I'm not super worried about that particular comp. I think that I can deal with that one if I just get a good spear, or if Samira had lived long enough to ult, I think she would have been able to kill them. So the official description says, Samira dashes and becomes unstoppable, unleashes a few shots per second at enemies within 2.5 hexes for 2 seconds. Each shot does percentage of her attack damage, and for the duration, Samira gains 100% dodge chance. So again, as she gets those additional letters and fills up her, well, she doesn't have a mana bar, but as she gets those additional letters, she will like charge up, and then she just fires bullets in like a big circle for people around her. So something to watch. Now, Samira's bullets will deal on-hit effects. So this is why items like the Last Whisper are so nice. Unfortunately, she gets eaten by Nunu before she can get her ult off, which is super duper sad. But, so yeah, not going to work that time. And by the way, look at the healing here. Almost enough to survive. Almost got off another, almost managed to get off another spear there. But Last Whisper is really good because she applies on-hit effects. She will like shred through the armor of enemies. Giant Slayer is really good for the same reason because she's applying on-hit effects. She will be cutting through the maximum health of enemy champs with the Giant Slayer. And Giant Slayer would have been really good against that last comp that we just saw there, which was someone running Brawlers. Brawlers have lots and lots of health, so they're actually not a great matchup for Nidalee with her spears. She does better against lower health targets. But if we had a Giant Slayer on Samira, then we would have shredded through that comp very easily. Of course, assuming Samira actually got her ult off. I'm hoping that I can 2-star the Samira. I want to get up to level 9, where I'll have much better odds to 2-star the Samira. But there's really no point in doing more rolling here. Everything on my board is 2-starred except for Tryndamere, so like there's not really any point in sitting here. Unless I wanted to 3-star a unit, but since I'm playing through Samira, it makes much more sense to go to level 9, try to 2-star the Samira at level 9, as opposed to like trying to 3-star the Cat. Because Katarina has no items. I'm not playing through Cat. She's really just here as kind of a trait bot right now. So that's why I'm going this path. Also, someone out there almost lost to the minions, which is kind of funny. In any case, though, we're going to go ahead and level to 9 here. And even though it costs me 100% of my income, there's not that much time left in the match. I really need to get the Pike in. The Slayer and the Assassin will do so much for me. Slayer, again, powering up the Samira. And also powering up the Tryndamere, although Tryndamere is not really a major component of this team comp. The Slayer units are the Samira, the Pike, and the Tryndamere. And then in addition to that, it also will get Assassin in play so that Katarina does significantly more damage. Yes, Kat doesn't really have much in the way of items, but if she gets ignored in the fight for a little bit, I did put that Trap Claw on her so it'll block 1 negative spell cast. It's not as good as the QSS, but it does give her a much better odds to get her ult off at least one time. And there we get a nice ult from Samira. What happened to the enemy team? Yeah, everybody just kind of dies when Samira gets off a good ult. Nidalee still did the most damage, but the Last Whisper shred on the Samira ult is really, really nice. Just cuts right through the armor of anyone that happens to get hit by her Bullet Storm. And is this person going to get knocked out? Yes. So that's really good because the comp that got knocked out was that Brawlers comp that I had a lot of trouble dealing with. And there's double Zillions, but there's no way to play Zillion in this comp. I can't get him into the team composition. I'll go ahead and lock for the Tryndamere 2-star. But Samira is the one I really want. Samira is the unit I need to find here because she is the late game carry to go along with Nidalee. Those are the 2 units that I'm playing through and are my main sources of damage here. Now, note that Bill Jamie has managed to find an Ornn and is starting to get Ornn items. That's a little bit concerning. The 2-star Ornn is going to keep making more items for that player. So I'm kind of hoping that maybe that player will get knocked out relatively early or something like that. I guess we'll see. Here, Veigar gets knocked down to almost no health, but then manages to get his ult off and gets back to full. But guess what? Samira gets her ult off. And that's it for Veigar. So that comp that we lost to earlier, we're able to win this time around. And then over here, we're going to see this player Fire Booms get knocked down to 3 HP. So I was like, well, you know, even if I don't win, I'm in good shape in this lobby to try to get at least a top 2 because I'm pretty sure that Fire Booms is not going to be able to win like 5 rounds in a row or something like that. So I'm probably locked into at least 2nd place here. But I am deeply concerned about these Ornn items that are coming out on the other player. If you've noticed, there's already 2 Ornn items in play, one on Yasuo and one on the Lee Sin. So that's problematic that this player is already level 9, has money to roll at 9, because remember, Bill Jamie won the first 12 rounds of the game and had tons and tons of money, so could just look to econ up to level 9 very quickly. We're up against the one other player in the lobby, Fire Booms, which is probably good, because this is probably the weaker of the 2 comps. It's just, can we survive through the Assault? And again, Samira gets off a great ult, and Nidalee gets off her spear, and again, that Gunblade really coming in handy, so we're going to win, and we knock out that player. And now it's down to just 2 of us. So we're going to have a duel here between the 2 of us to see who can take the 1st place spot. And settle in, this is going to take a little while because the 2 of us each have 50 HP. Excuse me, so this is kind of a weird situation where you have double, 2 people who both have a ton of health left. So out of the items, oh, and by the way, this is unfortunate. Note that that player immediately grabs the spatula, and I was like, uh-oh, does that person have a spatula on the bench? And yes, they do. So we're up against someone who's been super rich the entire game, went to level 9 early, had money to roll at level 9, has Ornn items with the 2-star Ornn that are coming in constantly, and in addition to that, has also managed to get a Force of Nature, so they're going to have 10 units in. So I was like, I don't know if I can win against this. This seems pretty rough. But I do find the Azir, So I'm going to play the Azir over the Vi. The Vi's not really doing anything at this stage of the game. And like, there's another Tryndamere there, but I don't really need another Tryndamere. I see the Azir, so I'll look to lock for that. Now, there's one other thing that's really problematic. Note that this person has a Shroud of Stillness on the 2-star Yasuo. That's really bad for me because if I'm going to make use of my Keeper trait, I'm going to have to bunch up my units to some extent. There's also a Blitzcrank arm to worry about because if you note, my Nidalee got pulled at the start of the fight, but that actually ended up not being that bad. Nidalee kind of got pulled to a spot where that wasn't that dangerous. And so now we just have to deal with this set, and it looks like we've managed to take care of that. So we actually win the first round of this duel. That means I can pick up the Azir and unlock on my board there. So I was like, oh, okay. Well, I didn't think I would win that round, but apparently I did. At this point, I'm just rolling for Samira, and I'm rolling for the Azir if I can find one of the two of them. So this person has so many legendary units in. Like I said, I feel like their comp really should be outscaling me, but it hasn't happened so far yet. I'm also going to reposition here. I see the Blitzcrank arm. I'm like, all right, well, we can reposition so that the Blitzcrank arm hits someone who has a Trap Claw. That should be helpful, and that'll stun the Shen at the start of the fight. It also allows the Shroud on Yasuo to not hit the Nidalee, which is what I don't want. It doesn't really matter if the Shroud hits Samira because she doesn't have mana. Like, she gets her ult off based on auto-attacking. It's not based on mana. So that ends up working out okay. And somewhat shockingly, we're kind of winning these rounds here. I really don't think that I should be winning these rounds because this other person, Bill Jamie, has so many legendary units making up their comp, but I'm kind of winning them so far, if you've been looking. That person has a 2-star Yasuo, has a 2-star Lee Sin, has a 2-star Swain, has a 2-star, I don't know, I think they have another legendary unit. I have to look back at their board. But yeah, I mean, like, I feel like this comp should beat me, and it's kind of not doing that. Like, they have all these 2-star legendary units, and they have Ornn upgrades, too. They've got, I think they have 3 Ornn items already. So this is a comp that should be outscaling me, but it's not happening. And yes, there's some questions about the itemization over there. I'm not sure if there's, like, one clear carry unit aside from the 3-star Yasuo. But still, this is another sign that just the legendary units are a little underpowered right now. And I do think it's problematic in that sense because if the legendary units don't outperform the other units in the late game, there's not much of an incentive to push the late game and play them. So here, again, hoping for Azir, hoping for Samira. Come on, I want one of these units. And oh, there's the Samira, so I'll lock for it. But then I was like, wait a minute. We're on stage 7. Let's just go ahead and sell the Azir, make the 2-star Samira. It means I'm probably not going to hit 2-star Azir, but I need to get the 2-star Samira in. Oh, there's 2-star Zillion over there too. I think the person's actually getting close to 3-star Swain. They have, what, 5 Swains over there? So, oh, and this person also has a 2-star Samira of their own. So, yeah, they've got that as well. So we've got dueling Samira ults. You're going to see multiple Samira ults going off, one for me and one for them. So this is, again, another close fight. I'm hoping that Samira can get off one more ult. Just the Nidalee and Samira are left alive for me, and boom, we win again. And we knock this person down to 9 HP. So you might have noticed I'm not moving my... And there's the other Samira, by the way. I was like, oh, wow. Still was valuable to have the Samira in. I don't know if I win that round if I don't have the 2-star Samira. You might notice I'm not moving my units around, and the reason is I keep winning these rounds. As long as I'm winning the rounds, I'm not going to reposition. Like, why would I reposition if I'm winning the rounds? So it's incumbent on the other player, Bill Jamie, to reposition his comp in such a way to beat me. But I'm going to keep standing here until he actually beats me one round, because I'm going to assume that I'm probably in good shape. Now, the difficulty is this person's now made another 2-star Swain. So this person has 2-star Azir, 2-star Azira, 2 stars, another 2-star Swain, a 2-star Zillion, and a 2-star Yone to go along with his 3-star Yasuo. Or wait, did he take the Yasuo out of his comp? I'm trying to remember. Well, in any case, this round is not going quite as well. It's still close, but I'm having trouble. And yeah, I end up losing that run. And I was like, oh, that's not good. So now maybe I do have to reposition my team comp. I'm trying to think, did this person actually take their 3-star Yasuo out of the comp? Oh, I think they did, and that was probably a mistake. They shouldn't have taken the 3-star Yasuo out. That powered up the Yone, and that was one of their big sources of damage. I think that was a mistake. Maybe that's why this person's been losing their rounds. They should not have taken out their 3-star Yasuo. Yes, it allowed them to roll for a legendary chosen, but you know, the comp they had should not have removed the Yasuo. Oh well. So we've got another round here. Again, I'm trying to see if I should reposition anything. I just decided to make one little minor shuffle just to get the Katarina over onto the right-hand side. I don't know if that was a good idea because it does mean that Cat gets shrouded, so probably was not such a good move. But I'm just hoping that maybe we'll have better RNG in this fight. Azir gets off a really nice ult. There's dueling Samira ults once again. So after the smoke clears, it looks like all that's left is the Nidalee and the Samira for me. And can we manage to deal with this Swain? Just down to 1 unit left, and Nidalee, MVP, is in fact going to win this one. So yeah, the Nidalee just carrying the entire game, the 3-star Nidalee. Like I said, I really don't think the game should work this way. I think that the balance is a little bit off in the game right now, but, you know, you play the game as it is. So that is my last placement match for Ranked. You can see placements complete, gold 190, gold 194 LP. It was like, really? You can't put me in platinum. But I'll take the 159 LP, so it looks like I should be able to make it back at a minimum to platinum in set 4.5. Well, once again, thanks for watching. Hope you enjoyed this video. Until next time, hope you guys have a good week, and I'll see you again soon.